Welcome to Spin Along Molecules. I'm really excited to start my channel with the first video as a part of a series of 4 videos on how to write a strong MSCA proposal. In this video, I will share some practical tips that help me to write a proposal that achieve a very high score of 98%. I myself have written 2 MSCA proposals, one back in 2022 which scored about 81%, although it could not get funded, but I learned along the process and I improved upon my weaknesses, and I wrote the second proposal in 2023 which scored nearly 98%. So my field of research is chemistry and material science, but I believe the tips that I will share would be helpful for everyone, especially people who belong to physical sciences and engineering sciences. So let's get started. So first thing is a groundbreaking idea. So your idea should be novel. It should be relevant to current challenges in science and in society, and it should be feasible within the time frame of MSCA proposal. So this thing a little bit depends on a person who is going to write the proposal. If you're in final year of your PhD and you have just finished your PhD and you're thinking about applying MSCA proposal, so it might take longer for you to come up with a very nice idea that will work for MSCA, because you have to talk with your future host, and the proposal idea should also be applicable and should be relevant to the future host lab resources, and also should relate to your experience of your PhD. But if you're already on a postdoc and you have experience of writing any other scientific proposals, so it might be easier for you. You can write a strong proposal, I think within 2 months, but if you are starting from zero, it might take 4 to 6 months, depending on how much effort you put on it. And the second thing is the state of the art. So it should be very clearly defined in your MSCA proposal. So most proposals fail because they have not explained what is the state of art in their lab, in their field, and once they don't know, how the reviewers could know that your idea is really a groundbreaking idea, because they don't know what is state of the art in your field, because reviewers are not extremely expert in your field. They could be from a related field, so it's your job to explain what is currently state of the art in your field and what is the what you're going to build upon. And also you should clearly explain what goes beyond the state of art in your proposal. So what I did in my proposal was I dedicated a separate figure for the state of art. I clearly explained with references that this is what is right now at the top in my field, and what I'm going to do is next level. So nobody has tried this before. So I am willing to try it, and it's very ambitious, and it goes certainly well beyond the state of art. And it was appreciated in my reviewers' comments that that state of art is clearly defined, and what he is proposing is well beyond the state of the art. So when you are proposing some groundbreaking idea and nobody has worked on it, it must be ambitious, and it should come with certain risks, because no one has done it before and you are the first one who is doing. So you should anticipate risks, and you should know how to mitigate those risks. You should come up with some alternative routes, alternative strategies, so it does not feel like this is ambitious proposal but it will fail, it will not work. So you should come up with some backup ideas or backup strategies to mitigate those risks. So next thing is what things you should really do in your proposal and what thing you should really avoid in your proposal. So first thing, you should use short sentences. Don't use long sentences. Very clear, short, and grammatically correct sentences are really appreciated. And then comes the highlighting, because MSc proposal is about 10 pages, and the reviewer might not read all 10 pages, but it's your job to tell them what is really important, what they should really read. So that's how you highlight. You can highlight either by using a bold sentence, or underlining a sentence, or using italic, or using a color. For example, in my case, I mostly use italic, where I wanted, and if something was really important, then I use a combination of italic and underlining. So one of my national contact point, I sent the proposal to them for initial review, and they suggested me don't use a combination, use only one thing, either italic or underlining. So, but I kept the way I was doing because it looked to me nice, so I kept it, and I think it resulted in a very good outcome. So another thing in your proposal is take care of logical flow. Each section or subsection that comes should follow the previous section, and there should be a connection between them, so that you don't jump from one information to a completely different information. So there should be a link between each section in your proposal. And use tables and visuals wherever possible. So visual that you use are more appealing and nice combination of colors, so it's not irritating for reviewers. And the other important thing is using jargon. So when we are scientists and we are writing science, if you're writing a paper or publication, it's very easy to write some technical things, and we know this paper will go to expert reviewers. But in MSCA proposal, the reviewers may not be experts. So I'm saying this again and again because this is really, really important to understand. Reviewers could be general scientific audience, and they are not really expert in your field, so you have to take care of them. If there is a word jargon, but if you have to use some technical terms, explain them in your proposal so they really know what you're talking about. And last thing on this slide is submitting the proposal as early as possible. So when I say this, I want to tell that you should submit your proposal at least 48 to 24 hours before the deadline, because it happens that we write at the time of deadline, there are too many proposals being submitted through the word, the system might get stuck, and that could be frustrating and disappointing for you. You work hard for 2-3 months, and at the end you could not be able to submit your proposal. So I submitted my proposal like 36 hours before the deadline, and then you're able to change it. So that's a good thing, that you go back and you read, and if you find something need to be improved, you can come back and submit a new version. But the old version is still there. When you submit the old version is deleted. So this is how you will be on the safe side if the system stops working. So you still are on the safe side. So next thing is why MSCA proposal fail. What are the common pitfalls that results in the failure? So one thing is copy pasting from another idea, from another proposal. Maybe you have written that proposal, but if you don't know the guideline of MSCA proposal, that is not groundbreaking, that might not work for MSCA case. For example, for me, I wrote humble proposal the first time, and then I framed that proposal into MSCA proposal in 2022, and it did not work for me because these two proposals are scientific proposals, but their guidelines are completely different. So you should really focus on the guidelines of MSCA proposal. Another thing is the objectives should be very, very clear. They should be linked with the knowledge gap in your field, and you should mention 2 to 3 main objectives that you want to achieve in your proposal, and you should relate them with the literature or knowledge gap in the field, and how these objectives, if achieved, will be impactful or helpful for science and society. So In coming to the state of art, if your state of art is not clearly defined, it's gonna lead to the failure of your proposal, because you have to think of your reviewers. If reviewers are not very expert in your field, they might not understand what you're saying is really something novel, ambitious, or original, or beyond the state of art. So you have to tell them what is the state of art. You should make a figure of state of art and clearly tell this is right now at the forefront in my field, and what I am proposing is the next level. So another thing is, if you're too ambitious, you propose too much science, because when we are writing, we come up with so many ideas. We can do this thing this way, this way, this way, and so many things. And then you have to think that are these all things are feasible in the time frame of MSCA proposal. For example, for European postdoctoral fellowship, you have maximum 2 years, and that should be feasible within 2 years. And if you're going on global fellowship, you have maximum of 3 years. So in each case, you have to think about this should be realistic, feasible within the time frame. And then another important thing that I learned is the host lab strength or resources. Sometimes we overlook them. We don't normally we don't know them. If we are applying remotely, we are not there yet. We are planning in the future, so we really don't know their weaknesses, their strengths, and how to relate that in your proposal is a little bit challenging. So you have to talk with the people there. If someone already achieved MSCA proposal in from that lab, that is good news for you. They can help you in a better way. If nobody has before achieved MSCA proposal and you are the first one who will, so this could be a little bit difficult for you, because they also don't know what are the exact requirements for MSCA, and you have to talk more with them, especially your PI or any people from that lab that can give you insider information, like what strengths they have, what equipment they have, what skills they have, what's really missing. You also need to know, because when you say through a transfer of knowledge, you have to demonstrate that you will bring some strengths which they don't have at the moment, and that's a transfer of knowledge from your side to your host lab. So this thing is also very important. If it's not clearly mentioned, so you lose point here. So the final writing tips are: you should start early and seek feedback. Starting early means it depends on you. Some people it might take 6 months, for some people it might take 2 months, but starting early, depending on your level of understanding in your field or in your topic and your experience of writing proposal, that can define how early you should start. And seeking feedback is very, very important. And then use simple direct language. Every sentence of your paragraph, first sentence, should be very clear. That should give the direct message, and you should not use long sentences or ambiguous sentences just to fill the space. You should use very, very clear language and sentences, and easy to read. And they might not read the whole passage, but they might read the first sentence of your passage, and the first sentence should convey clearly the message. Not they should look for the message inside. It's your job to give them that thing. Include visuals again. Using Gantt chart, diagrams, tables saves time for the reviewer to go through your proposal. They like it. It's easy for them to follow your proposal, and ensure that your proposal is aligned with MSCA and EU values. This is another thing. You have to frequently relate these things with the MSCA mission and European Commission mission, because you are using budget from their side, and it's taxpayers' money, and you should relate that this will help science and society within the European Union. And last thing here is the CV. So although it belongs to B2 part, it's not directly evaluated, but I think it's it's very helpful for the reviewers to, when they want to look at your CV and look at your strengths, it should come out very easy to their eyes that this is what he is saying is really true, and it's reflected in your CV. They don't have to spend so much time on your CV. So last thing, put yourself in reviewer's place. So what that means is that you should understand the reviewer's mindset. So there are three reviewers on your proposal. They individually first evaluate your proposal, and then they meet. They might meet 2 or 3 times, but they meet and they discuss the proposal, and then one of them will prepare the evaluation report. So they have to agree on each point what they're writing in the evaluation report. So they're busy. First thing, they might not be expert, but they are experienced, so they know where to go find mistake in your proposal. May not be in the scientific part, but the other parts, that it's very easy for them to find that mistake. So it's your job to make it hard for them to find a mistake or a weakness in your proposal. This is what I did. So when I wrote my proposal, I talked with my lab manager, and that I have written my proposal in a way that it will be difficult, unless they are biased, it will be difficult for them to find mistakes. So it's very hard that the 3 person who are selected as reviewer randomly for your proposal, they are biased towards you, your future PI. So this is what happened to me. So I wrote in a way that, well, difficult. For example, in my excellence section, they have written that they could not find significant weaknesses, and same in my impact section, I got 5 out of 5 in both sections. So this is what you need to do. So I will in next videos give you the tips and to how to strongly write excellence part, impact part, and implementation part, that it become difficult for the reviewers to get the weaknesses in your proposal. So last thing, clarity, structure flow, and originality of your idea and proposal matters the most. If you have clarity in your mind about your idea, you can write a beautiful structure flow and an original proposal, and that is what is required in an MSCA. So MSCA evaluation criteria is based on 3 sections. Is excellence is 50% weightage, impact 30% weightage, and implementation is 20% weightage. But it does not mean that one section is less important than the other. All sections are equally important, and you should pay attention to every section. Even for example, for scientists, it might be easier to write the first section and fewer weaknesses, but the other 2 sections, in my experience, when I was writing it, they are really technical, and it's very difficult to understand them first time and write them. So stay tuned. In next 3 videos, I will dig deeper into those excellence section, and I will show examples from my proposal, how I structured my proposals, and what were the key things I did. For example, how I divided my proposal sections into subsections and subheadings, and what kind of figures, tables or charts I use in my proposal. So I think that those are going to be very helpful for the people who are right now writing the proposal and who are planning to write proposal in the future. So stay tuned, and I wish you good luck for your MSCA proposal writing.